Yes, there are Latinos in Alaska, and their story is unique. They bring their best, their cultures, and their food. And when they arrive, they find that in Alaska, everything is different.
You always dancing around the kitchen, always dancing in the kitchen when you're cooking up that love. I cried helpless, I'm helpless, I'm so helpless in love.
Alaska is the great land. 1/5 the size of the continental United States, it is the most western, eastern, northern, and the only Arctic state in the U.S. Yet only about 733,000 people live in the great land. The population of Latinos in Alaska has grown by leaps and bounds, more than 35% over the last 2 decades alone. The Latino community comprises new immigrants as well as immigrant families that have called Alaska home for generations.
I actually didn't know I was Mexican until I was like 8 years old, and I moved in with my dad. For some hard reasons, my mom couldn't take care of me, and she just dropped me off with my dad. And one day, as I was living with him, I was like, you know, I'm Alaska Native, but who are you? Like, where are you from? And he was like, Orale Vato. And I was like, what does that mean? You know, and then he just started telling me like our family tree and telling me like how he grew up.
One of the biggest challenges for the Latino families is how do you help your children to flourish in this new land without losing the knowledge of your roots.
To me, mi cultura está en los ingredientes que mi abuela y mi mamá cocinan. Ahí está mi cultura, so es tan importante, yeah.
For many young Latinos in Alaska, especially those who have never left the state, their identity is shaped by the food and culture that their families bring. If culture is a response to the environment and food is a reflection of the land, then Latinos in Alaska have an identity all their own.
My sister dip nets, which is a style of fishing in Alaska.
I've been dip netting for about 20 years. It's like home away from home. The water, the waves, it's a part of me.
Only Alaskan residents can dip net for personal use. Since 2003, Alaskans harvest between 130,000 and 540,000 sockeye salmon annually in this fishery.
My family enjoys eating salmon, and so it's to take care of my family. Traditionally, I like to continue to do it, you know, with a little bit of Mexican cuisine. I mean, I can bake it, I can deep fry it, you know, coconut salmon, salmon quesadillas, a nice seafood soup with fresh salmon in there, salmon tacos.
When you're talking about 65 salmon per household, that's a lot of fish. She has given birth to a tradition in our family.
Although summer fishing and harvesting provides sustainable resources for Alaskans, it is not sufficient to sustain Alaskans through the year. The state still imports more than 90% of its food. That translates to almost $2 billion a year in food that must be shipped to Alaska.
We're in Alaska, so we're not always going to be the first ones to receive the fresh produce, especially in the middle of winter.
I wouldn't want to make tamales here. We've made them in California and people are like, oh, make them here, but you know, you have everything there. You're so close to Mexico, but here it's a little challenging.
That I wouldn't attempt it, yeah.
Yeah.
El acceso a la comida ha sido muy difícil, en especial la comida con la que yo crecí, ¿no? Las tortillas hechas a mano, de nixtamal, pues son prácticamente inexistentes aquí, ¿no? Aquí están, sí puedes conseguir tortillas, pero son en los supermercados y son estas tortillas prefabricadas que duran como 2 meses en el refrigerador y no sabes ni por qué. El precio de la comida también, de la comida fresca, es muy alto aquí.
Food production and harvesting across the Americas was successful well before colonization. Ancestral foods from Latin America are found at tables across the world. They are products like potatoes, squash, corn, and chocolate, to name a few.
As I got more connected to my native culture and learning about like indigenous food systems before colonization, I started realizing how important it is to go to foods that are not just vegetarian, but just not so processed.
Pues yo creo que eso de la buena mano significa que las personas conocen bien lo que es el suelo, las semillas y pues yo creo que en verdad sí es una parte de tener una buena energía, ¿no? Especial para poder sembrar porque no siempre se puede crecer igual a los productos. También es el tiempo que se le dedica a las plantas, el tiempo y la paciencia, porque como dice Manuel siempre, aunque uno no crea, son vidas, las plantas son vidas.
Alaska's not an easy place to live, and so to choose to be a part of this community means that you're going to need to invest part of yourself. It takes work, and if you're going to put that work in, you need to make sure that that work is true to yourself. So coming as you are, bringing your traditions, your customs, your languages, your food, your traditions, your history, all of that needs to be a part of surviving and thriving here in Anchorage.
Immigrant Latinos in Alaska form part of a larger immigrant community that helps drive the Alaskan economy.
Consumir local es precisamente la gente dar el sabor fresco y aparte la economía se reactiva, producir, digamos, localmente todos los ingredientes, o algunos de los ingredientes para los tamales. Hacer tamales de rhubarb, el hacer tamales de flor de calabaza o los tamales de la mostaza con sus ingredientes mostaza de rajas han tenido éxito también en el mercado.
En mi familia, y yo sé que en otras familias hemos tenido que adaptarnos mucho, ¿no? A lo que tenemos aquí en Alaska, ¿no? Hace unos años atrás, mi hermana y yo teníamos un puesto de comida que se llamaba Latino's Grill en el Saturday Market. Y hemos hecho una fusión de la comida latina con los animales de Alaska, una fusión alasqueña peruana, ¿no?
Introducir nuestra comida tradicional con el salmón, y mantener ese sabor con un sabor caribeño que es muy importante que nosotros sepamos que podemos hacerlo también. El salmón, el halibut, los shrimps, podemos hacerlo con este sabor típico de nuestro país y queda riquísimo.
And what's so exciting is to see when children come with their parents to our restaurant, they eat all of this food.
Nosotros ofrecemos comida específicamente from Guatemala y ofrecemos un poquito de fusión con comida de aquí de Estados Unidos. Ofrecemos también un poquito de diferente comida de Centroamérica, como las pupusas. Yo crecí con ellas y toda la comida de que estamos ofreciendo son recetas de que yo aprendí y que pues entre los dos agregando un poquito, esto sabe rico, esto no está tan rico, agreguémosle un poco más, entonces convertimos en lo que es Mochileros Street Food.
She's the one that prepares everything from her heart. She makes everything from her hand, all from scratch, all the way down to the tortilla.
Latinos find that their shared historical experiences with the first peoples of Alaska can help build a foundation for a home in the Arctic.
think about how the similar values of like family, kinship, respect to your elders, leaving places better than you found them, that's a value shared across cultures, and especially at the table.
Damos gracias esta tarde por estar en esta casa con amigos que quieren conocer acerca de lo que nosotros cultivamos de esta bendita tierra, y damos gracias a la divinidad que existe en la tierra por estos alimentos.
Denahoto anabasi, denanana hoyani sakhalni basi for this Tleagat Baba, this native food.
Kun yahine yahne eso va paso chani maria mesane hazunai eso la chano ta morani ka iraintine kanyana mesa chani.
Amen.
Latino culture is defined by ancestral ties to food. One cultural practice that has grown in Anchorage as the community has grown is Dia de Muertos, a holiday that honors ancestors through the offering of food.
I had the opportunity to be a part of Dia de Muertos the first year that I came up to Anchorage. And it was a little bit of a surprise to find how many folks got involved here in the community and made it possible, not just within the Latino community, but in the Anchorage community overall.
La toma de espacios mediante la cultura ha sido la forma más poderosa y pacífica en que la comunidad ha hecho presencia aquí en Alaska. Es una manera de echar la raíz en este lugar.
We're in a really exciting time where kids are allowed to be excited about their culture, especially here in Alaska, where connection to culture is so important and plays such a significant role in the creation of community.
En especial en estos tiempos donde se ha propagado un discurso que da la imagen de que los migrantes somos gente no educada, que venimos a aprovecharnos del sistema, que venimos a tomar lo que es de otros. El Día de Muertos y las otras prácticas culturales son el contradiscurso al racismo.
Food and culture are inseparable. Latinos and Alaska are symbiotic. Latino food and culture is changing Alaska. And Alaska is changing Latino food and culture.
Cascabel con una cinta morada, yo tenía mi cascabel. Y como era de oropel, se lo di a mi prenda amada, para que juegue con él allá por la madrugada.